Ugh, that's pretty much how I felt about today's game. For a slightly more detailed and professional analysis. So it's an afternoon game, which the Kings are not typically awake for, and it's against Dallas Stars, who are the top of the Western Conference, and with a week left, and the Kings only have 4 games left. I'm not sure how many Dallas has left, but it's unlikely that anyone is going to oust them from the top of the Western Conference spot. So they're a really, really good team to play against, and you could see that particularly in the first period. They're fast. They are great in the neutral zone, and the Kings during the first just had a really hard time catching up with them. Going into the second period, there was like 21 shots on goal to 8, and the Kings were 8, which, if you know anything about the Kings, is usually the opposite of how it goes. We outshoot everything and then still lose. Today we were thoroughly outplayed in the first period by the Stars. For the first 5 minutes, it was pretty even. Things were going fast on both ends. The Kings could have scored first. Trevor Lewis had this really great shot from the blue line, and if it was anyone but Dwight King there for the rebound, they probably would have been up 1-0 early in, and it would have been really interesting to see how that goal gave the Kings momentum. As it was, that didn't happen. Quick then at the other end let up an even fatter rebound, and I don't know who it was, but one of his defensemen, he owes them a huge beer tonight for stopping that. Otherwise, Quick was really on top of it today. He had a great game. He had some very Jedi mind trick kind of saves. I heard the loudest post I've ever heard in my life at one point during the game. The problem tonight was not Quick. The problem was that between 8:08 of the first period and 15:26 of the first period, the Kings didn't even have an attempt at a shot on goal. Literally, no pucks were heading towards Lehtinen. The Stars were just stifling them. They were all over the neutral zone. It didn't help that there was a Kyle Clifford penalty for a couple of minutes around 12 minutes in, where I think they actually doubled their shots on goal. And again, kudos to Quick for keeping the game where it was. It could have easily been 3-0 by the end of the first period if it wasn't for Quick. And it's slightly disconcerting to see how good the shots were that they got, and how many of them the Kings allowed in the first period. It was all Dallas. They kind of scored the first goal, except it was waved off on the ice for goaltender interference. And you're going to see the play here. No question that the guy is on top of Quick, and Quick is unable to do his job. The reason that the Stars tried to challenge the goal is because they believe it wasn't their player who was interfering. It was a Kings player pushing their player into Quick, and that was why Quick was unable to make the save. It's understandable, but as it was waved off on the play, they didn't decide that there was enough of a question as to who it was that pushed him in. They just said, you know what, he was interfered with, so the call in the ice stands, no goal. That definitely helped, because the next shot on goal came from the Kings, and it was Tanner Pearson, and it was a goal. Like a real goal. We get to keep this one. I'm not even sure Tanner was trying to score on this. I think there was some great neutral zone work by, I think it was Lucic and a couple other guys to get Tanner the puck. And I think Tanner was just trying to, get it down to Lehtinen, zone, just kind of in that area, and then do some more work down there. But as it was, he was kind of screened, and it's Tanner Pearson, so it was a gorgeous shot. And suddenly the Kings find themselves up 1-0, which honestly wasn't really fair. Dallas completely deserved to be winning this game during the first period, but having been on the other side of that, where we're outplaying and outshooting the other team by a wide margin, I was really okay with it. It was fine. This is when they started to get a few scuffles after the whistle. Things were getting a little bit tense. And then Jake Muzzin takes a penalty with about 47 seconds left in the first period. Just when you think maybe the Kings are going to make it out of this alive and with a lead, they take the penalty. And with 2.9 seconds left on the clock in the first period, they score. The Kings think that it's an offside play. They challenge the call. And I'm going to go with what Jim Fox said on the air today, and that was that the call was offside. But after an even lengthier review in Toronto, they decide that it isn't, that it is indeed onside, and so the goal stands, and we go into the second period 1-1. Not really fair for either team, but that's the way it goes. The Kings don't know what Sutter said to them in between the first and the second. Maybe they took an adrenaline shot or something, but they were playing much better going into the second period. And it's two very high caliber teams playing each other. And so it's a very exciting game. The first has got so many things going on. There are a couple more penalties that happen, and each team is not really edging each other out by very much. Perhaps the Stars players are a little better, but Jonathan Quick is better than Lehtinen, and he did a phenomenal job. Like I said, Jedi kind of saves going on today. And then the Kings get the second goal of the game. It's 2-1, and it's so exciting. So this play is Jeff Carter and Tyler Toffoli doing their beautiful Jeff Carter, Tyler Toffoli things. They had some really, really great chemistry tonight. It was beautiful to watch, as always. So Carter officially gets the shot. Lehtinen's just kind of doesn't really know which player to look at, and it's Carter that's right by the net. It's super easy shot for him to take. And it's 2-1, and things are going a lot better, and we're starting to think, maybe the Kings have got this. Maybe they do. And then the refs were like, no, I'm sorry. Like I said, if we deserve to lose the game, I'm going to call that. And in the first period, we really didn't deserve to end that period up or tied. But as it was, we have Quick, and he keeps us in games, and then the refs were like, no, we're going to take this away from you. And it started with, or at least what I noticed, it started with a too many players on the ice call for Dallas, which, amateur hour. And I made fun of them because I made fun of Jake Muzzin for getting the delay of game, which is the second most amateur penalty that you can take. And then I had to eat my words because Drew Doughty got called for high sticking, even though his stick wasn't anywhere near the guy, and he high sticked himself. The Stars player high sticked himself, and yet Doughty's in the box, so our power play becomes a 4-on-4 and then a penalty kill, which we killed just fine. And we make it out of the second period alive, 2-1. Again, the Kings have been playing much better than they did in the first period, and we're going into the third thinking, yeah, we actually may deserve to win this game. Because you don't deserve it from just playing one period, or not playing one period as the Kings didn't in the first. So we get to the third, and the refs make some even worse calls. There was just blatant high sticking that they didn't call at all. I think it was McNabb that got high sticked with the butt of a stick into the glass, and he's down for a good 30 seconds still on the ice. That was completely missed. At one point we had a power play and just blatant tripping on, I want to say Tanner Pearson. I don't remember who it was, but he was clearly tripped by any definition of the word tripping, and we should have had a 5-on-3, at which I believe they had scored their second goal by that point. So we should have had the advantage to try and get it back, and we didn't. And then it was bad call after bad call or a missed call, and the Stars score their third goal, which again, I'm not trying to deny that the Dallas Stars are a good team. They are. They scored it with 4 minutes and 58 seconds remaining in the third period. And I really would have liked to see a fair competition between the two of them. I would have liked to see what the Kings could have done on a 5-on-3. I would have liked to see what they could have done on several penalties and what they could have done if they hadn't have been given bogus penalties. I didn't get to see that, so I'm going to go with Daryl Sutter and just park and ride. Except that our divisional title is kind of hanging on this, and we're definitely not going to get the conference title now. Which, again, I keep reminding myself is fine as long as we get the Stanley Cup. To finish this game, though, we just couldn't pull it out with the last couple of minutes. We pulled Jonathan Quick with like a minute and a half to go. And credit to the Dallas Stars. They didn't let us set up any plays that could have even remotely been dangerous. I think once they pulled Quick, the puck, actually, they spent more time trying to stop the Stars from scoring on an empty net in their zone and in the neutral zone than they did from actually getting into the Star zone and trying to do anything. So 3-2 final score. There are 4 games left in the regular season. We are still one up on the Ducks, but of course they now have a game in hand. We play the Canucks on Monday. I don't remember who on Tuesday, and it's going to be the big game on Thursday night against the Anaheim Ducks at home. Our final game is Winnipeg on Saturday, but that game on Thursday is really going to determine who ends up first and who ends up second in the division. So here's hoping that we bring our A game for all 60 minutes on Thursday. Until then, stay happy, Kings fans. We're in the playoffs. That's all that matters.